Ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Vicki Wilson.
Hi and welcome to Road to the Horse 2017. I'm Vicki Wilson, I'm from New Zealand, and we're going to bring you a slightly different clinic than I think you've seen before here at Road to the Horse. So I've been incredibly lucky to be based with Dan James of Double Dan Horsemanship for the last week, and he had a Liberty clinic on the weekend that I was very lucky to borrow 2 horses for this clinic to use and to show and demonstrate what I do and why I do things. So we borrowed this lovely little thoroughbred gelding. The girls turned up to ride him working with the Liberty clinic because he's become a little bit dangerous to ride. He has a good buck on him and he can have a very good spook and spin. And she's come off him a few times, and so has her trainer. So we've asked to borrow this guy. And obviously the little coloured mare here is a 3-year-old unbroken filly who has started her break-in career, but every time the saddle is put on it, it starts bronking. So what we want to really demonstrate is a sore horse. Essentially that my horse is an athlete and that my horse has to use its body correctly and why. And I haven't had the luxury of having these horses in this arena. I wanted to show you really fresh up what these horses are doing. And so what we want to put pressure on is do a before and an after of what their behaviour they're doing now, whether it's bucking or spooking or spinning. Then I'm going to hop off and I'm going to adjust them, and then we're going to hop back on and hopefully see if there's some improvement. And so as I'm riding a horse, I'm looking for and feeling whatever issues is going on in his body. He obviously goes on the bit and he works very pretty, but he goes on the bit and the pole. So he really uses this part of his neck, and he's what I would call on the bit and the neck. He's not on the bit in his entire body. So what we're going to change, even yes, he is a little bit sore, which I'll show you shortly, is how to use his body correctly and change the way he uses his body. And I think it's incredibly important that our horse, our athlete, that we start training these horses and start understanding these horses and not punishing the symptoms that they show us, but finding the solution instead. Why did my horse wake up one day and decide to nap at the gate when I went to ride him out? Why did he start bucking randomly after working superbly for 6 months? Okay, essentially with what I do with the jumping, if I've had a horse that jumps for 6 months happily, and one day he goes in the ring and stops, I have to ask myself why. He didn't wake up and go, I'm going to be naughty today. Okay, the horses are triers. You're not going to get a bigger trier than what these horses do for us in every discipline. So what I really want to show is how much, oh boy. Okay, and essentially he doesn't want to work forward. Good boy. Okay, and all he's doing is trying to tell me, hey, something's wrong, something's pinching. He's not trying to go, oh, I want to be naughty. I want you to put a big bit on me, a big pair of spurs, and give me a hiding. He's trying to say, hey, something's hurting in there, something's pinching. How about we fix it and solve it for him so we can relieve that issue? Good boy. So these are 2 perfect horses, I think, that really showcase that these horses are unhappy. And it's not the contact. He'll still do this with no contact. Okay, but he doesn't want to be naughty. No horse wants to wake up and go, hey, I want to overbend in the front, because that's the right thing to do. We want to say, hey, you need to use that body correctly. Good point. Like he's a beautiful little horse. He moves out through his body, but every time I say, hey, ride forward, there's an issue in there. So we're going to quickly saddle up the little the pinto mare, and show you what she does, and then we'll do what we do and why we do it. Good boy. Ooh. So it's just a real quick before and after, and hopefully there is a really good after, because that's always a good story. But it is true that we can't fix every horse. So if we bring her out into the middle a little, if you go straight to the other side. Okay, so this little coloured mare has fantastic ground control. Yeah, as soon as and she's got really good foundation of her liberty work, and she's a real trier. But as soon as she's been saddled up, she has a very obvious unhappy backing problem. Whoa. Good girl. Can you go up one more? Yep, perfect. Okay, you just jump out of the way. Jump out of the way. Jump out of the way.
Jump out of the way.
Move.
Move.
Okay, all yours. So I'll just ask Heather to move her out. Okay, and yet when she doesn't work with the saddle, she's absolutely superb. Okay, so all she's doing is telling me something is going on in her body. So see if we can send her out a little bit more. And she does get to the point where she'll actually try and work through it, because she has such a sweet temperament. Okay, she's not saddle shy, she's not doing it for a reason. So we have to work out, hey, why is my horse struggling to go forward? And like, she will work out of it. But we have to ask ourselves, why is that her first reaction? Good boy. So we brought a little Top Gun in. That's cool, Heather, thank you. Just to show you, it keeps the other guys company, but we also show a horse that's not sore in our reactions. So Heather, if you bring her in, we're good. I think we've seen what she can do. Okay. So what I'll do is, it is essentially eliminating what's wrong with my horse. Does he rear and nap because he has a wolf tooth? Does he have hooks in his mouth? Are there issues going on in his poll? Okay, is he restricted in his front movement because he's sore through the shoulders? And is that related to my foot balance? Has my horse got too high heels? Is he too long in the toe? Is he sore behind, bucking and kicking out, disuniting, rearing or napping? Our horses are really, really good. They're so honest in what they try to tell us. Okay, and if my horse is rearing or bucking out, kicking, he's really trying to tell me something. And we can hop on some horses that put their ears back, they swish their tail, and they won't bend a little right or left. Okay, and they're just subtly, they've got a really good attitude to life. So anyone on that side, I'm really sorry, but you have to look at the screen a little, I guess. All I do is I'm going to go through his body and look for reactions. When he throws his head, how he reacts. I want to be able to evenly put pressure on that pole, and I should be able to do it without any reaction at all. I should be able to run my hands quite firmly through the wither, which he's telling me, hey, it's sore. I'm getting the spasming, the reaction, the movement, and that's just pressure. I'll then run my hands down through his shoulders, okay, and he spasms low down. It's not high. Okay, good boy. And then about that far, from the top of his spine, the flat of my hands, I'm going to run all the way down his top line. And it's something that we do grooming our horses every day. And all I'm looking for is spasming when he sinks his back, where he refers his weight to. Then I'd go to the strongest structure of our horse, the hips and the sacro, and I'd say, hey, how strong are you through there? Because if I go to a horse that's not sore, there'll be absolutely no reaction. And he really tells me he's sore through there. If I touch him from the top of the spine above his tail, he curls his bum under. I run my hands all the way down the hamstrings, and he's like, hey, Mum, don't touch me there. That hurts. Okay, and I'll quickly adjust him, and then we'll do the little coloured mare. Heather, if we could please pull off her saddle.
I'm sure Togo knows how to show how.
Okay, so I'll quickly go to a horse that's not sore. Now, we've been really lucky to be able to use Dan's horses all week. Put it away. Okay, when I go into a horse's pole, I should be able to put the exact same amount of pressure quite firmly down behind the ears, and there's not one reaction. He doesn't shake, spasm, throw his head at all. Okay, run my hands down his shoulders. Okay, again, not one flinch, not one spasm. He doesn't jump, he doesn't react in any way. All the way along the top line. Okay, the muscle moves up above me. Okay, all the way along, and there's no reaction. And if you were to walk into my stable block of 14 show jumpers, not one of them would spasm, react, muscle flinch, or jump or react in any way where you touch them. And some horses we don't adjust, we could do once in 3 years. Other horses, I'd go over them once a week. Okay, what we want to do is we want to try and pinpoint, is it a simple massage that could eliminate that problem, or is it a proper adjustment? And I haven't touched these horses with their bodies, we wanted to leave it for today. But I'm just going to go through every joint movement, and then show you, hopefully, straight away, how we get a change in our horse. Good boy. Okay, and it's not something I'm saying, hey, you need to go home and do yourselves, but is your chiropractor, is your physio, is your massage person getting instant results? Or if you were to run your hands over that horse's body again straight away, after you've had it treated, is there a difference, or is it still spasming and reacting and shaking? Okay, like our horses really tell us. Some are very, very subtle in what they tell us. Some really are obvious with the bucking, the rearing, the napping. And they're just a horse that can't cope with the pain quite so much. Good boy. So I just go through every single joint, every range of movement that our horse should be able to do in its body. And if we didn't have a big stadium and we had everyone up close, you would hear joints clunking, or I can feel ligaments moving. Good boy. Okay, I'm just looking for where he's tight, what he struggles to allow me to do with the range of movement. And it's really important. We had a little horse come to me at a clinic, and they were desperate to fit in, we were fully booked. And she said, no, you have to see my horse, Vicki. And so we organized, we had 15 minutes of daylight at the end of a clinic. And she turned up, we had a little ride, we had bucking, we had rearing. Move over. Good boy. Okay, every time I went to canter on the left lead, he'd pick up the wrong leg. Yes, please. I could flying change him onto that left lead, but he couldn't do it himself. And then we hopped off, and the more cantering I did, the more he started to struggle to breathe. And I said, does he have a wind problem? And she said, not that she knew of. And we hopped off and adjusted that horse. And when I went through the front shoulders, everything went clunk, and he would have head shaked, licked his lips for a good 10 minutes afterwards. Good boy. Okay, and then we hopped back on. No bucking, no rearing, instant left canter lead. And I asked that lady, and his wind problem was gone. He could completely breathe as normal. And I asked that lady, I said, what happened? I said, how long has he been working like that for? And she said, the last year he's had a real issue. And I said, what happened a year ago that you know of that could have caused that? And she said, well, actually, come to think of it, he galloped down the hill, hit the wooden gate and flipped over the top of it. And what he had done is he had landed on one shoulder and he had rotated and was crushing his larynx, which was preventing him from breathing normally and from picking up that left canter lead. That horse has not had a problem with that canter lead. It's not bucked or reared in the 2 years since. So what he was trying to tell us was that something was really obviously going on with that body. Some horses you'll get are the world's biggest triads. You could have the biggest issue going on with that horse, and you wouldn't know it. He would continuously keep working well. He might struggle to bend a little, but he's going to keep trying. You'll get another horse that's the world's biggest princess, and the tiny thing's wrong, and he's like, hey, I can't work. So what we've really got to start understanding is, why is he being naughty today? What's going on in his body that's preventing him from working as well as he can? Good boy. Whoops. That's why you do this in a halter. And so I've been incredibly lucky to borrow these two horses, and it kind of really shows two different type of horses, obviously one broken in, one not. And it's true, I can't fix every horse that comes to me. It depends how permanent the injury's been or how long it's been there, but the 90% of horses we're getting results from. I don't want my horse to start off his breaking in career bucking. I want to try and I'll do some body work on it. I'll go through everything, make sure he's 100% right, and going, okay, is he struggling to pick up that hind leg? So I've always done my own horses' body work, and then we had somebody that suggested that we try this new person, and I had a little Palomino horse, which was my good demo horse, that had shivers behind, and you couldn't pick his back feet up and shoe him. And he'd been diagnosed by the vets with it, and we turned up to this guy. He adjusted him. An hour later, I had shoes on that horse, 100% normal. Okay, and so I've been lucky enough to train with him ever since. And we've got to ask ourselves, what's going on with that horse? Why is he reacting the way he is? Because I don't believe that they wake up and go, hey, I'm going to be naughty today. They don't roll out of bed and go, hey, today's a really good day to pick on my rider. Good boy. Good. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to run through his body now and just have a feel and see how much I need to continue and go over again. Okay, so we've got no reaction at all. Doesn't matter how much pressure I put in there, there's no reaction. Ooh, because I'm not that brave. Ooh. Okay, and I'm going to run all the way along here. Make sure the muscle runs up all the way along. And I'm going to go, okay, this hamstring muscle that's sore, good boy. Let's see what it gives me. So it's a little tight in there. So while I'm adjusting the colored mare, I will get my sister to a little bit of muscle work, because that is a muscle, it's not a joint there. And he's been holding himself the wrong way for a while. Okay, go to the top of the hips. Good boy. No reaction, okay? And so what we've got to do, if you go home and get your horses adjusted or treated, let's swap. Heather, if you could hold the grey horse, please. And I'll just get Alexa to hold that. Thank you.
Alexa.
If you could hold this one. And so this one's really obvious, and she's such a sweet mare, but if I go in here, she's like, hey, don't touch me. Okay, and I don't believe horses are head shy for no reason. It's because they pull back, they roll the wrong way, they throw their head up under a yard. Okay, same sore in that same place as in that wither. Okay, and these are horses that, whoa, baby girl. Just take her off that. There you go. These are horses that ideally I'd give 4 or 5 treatments to and change the work so that they really hold. Run my hands down through here. Good girl. Okay, she's not being naughty. She's not going to be going, hey, let's be mean to Vicki day. Okay, she's spasming all the way along here. Good girl. The hips. Okay, and it's not her going, hey. Whoa, and see, super reactive, super sensitive. Good baby. Okay, she's going to go, hey, everything's tight, everything's sore, I don't trust you. So let's go through every joint motion. Whoa, baby. Ooh. Okay, and she's obviously not going to be as relaxed as a ridden horse, because she thinks everything we do with her right now is pain related. I don't want that. Good. Good. And so what we've got to start doing, is it the gear we're putting on our horse? Is it my saddle doesn't fit? Is it because it's simply stuck through the shoulders or stuck in that back end? Is it the grass and the feed that it's affecting my horses? There's so many things that go on with these horses. And I believe as a responsibility for our horses and as a trainer, a clinician and a rider, it's my responsibility to become the best horseman, the best trainer, the best teacher that I possibly can. And that I believe I'll never stop learning, that they'll continue to teach me things. Good girl. And so we essentially look at it is every time I walk out onto my arena or my paddock where I'm going to train my horse, is that's my horse's classroom. Okay, which means I have to become the world's best teacher. A teacher she understands, a teacher she enjoys, and wants to continue going to school for. Because I believe that as soon as we become hard to understand, mean in any way, or boring, they switch off, look out the window, and wish they were home with their friends. Okay, no different than kids at school or people in the workplace that don't enjoy their job. Good girl. So whether it's a mental issue, a physical issue, is it something we have to retrain and fix? Good girl. Okay. We have to really, and I guess it's not trusting your professional. Not necessarily trusting your farrier, your saddle fitter, your back person, your vet. It's about you learning and understanding and wanting to gain more knowledge. Question things. Why are you doing that? Why do you trim my horse's feet that way? When you adjusted my horse, why did you do that? Good girl. Okay, we just rotate, please. You'll find that most professionals want to share their knowledge, and it's about asking and wanting to know more. Okay, so that she's a real antsy little horse. She's like, I don't want to be touched. Okay, every time you work with me, it hurts a little. Okay, and I use a towel just so my hands don't get cut up too much. Good girl. Turn her head this way, one. Good girl. Okay, and she's super sensitive and super reactive. Whoa. Whoa. But if you got a horse that's not sore in any way, they don't react. Okay, and there are horses here on the grounds that aren't sore, and there's a lot that are. And what I'm continuously looking for is where they're developing in their muscle, why they don't have sitting muscles, why she use the top of her neck rather than at the base of her withers. Okay, she's going to really struggle with this adjustment. Good girl, because she's so sore in there. Good. And it is a horse that I've said, hey Heather, we're going to have to go back and adjust it back in the stables tonight. Because I'm only here for a few days, so it's going to need a few days' work to get it to hold, because there's so much going on with this horse. I have some horses that we can treat, like this little guy here, we treat once, and he'll hold, because he has so much good muscle to keep him together. And yet on a horse like this, who doesn't have the foundation of riding, those muscles are screaming so much, all that bad muscle is going to pull it back out. If we could please saddle him up again, please, Manda. Lexa, just stand here. Good girl. And it's just understanding my horse, and it's what we always say is become aware. When I groom my horse, why does he flinch there? Okay, why is those muscles spasming? And is it something that I can massage out of my horse myself? Or is it something that after 2 massage treatments, nothing's improving? That means I have to get somebody in to sort it out. Okay, and then once that person's been to sort it out, have you had instant fix? Is it something that you ask, that you're like, what can I go home and massage? How can I help my horse? Is it by stretching him? Is it by massaging him? Okay, some horses require maintenance, and I don't believe it's necessary. Sometimes it's just as simple as some good body work. Sometimes it's massage. Sometimes we actually have to change the way they're worked and teach them how to use their body correctly. And when I'm adjusting a horse's head, I'll never allow someone to go in and pat them straight away. As soon as I've adjusted them, we step back, we look for a head shake, a lick of the lips, a roll of the eyes, a yawn, because I believe to have a physical change, the mental change has to follow. Okay, so if I go in and go, oh, it's okay, pony, we block that mental change a little. Good girl. Whoa. Okay, and there's so many things and different ways that we can help these horses. Whoa. Good girl. Okay, so she's really stuck, so we'll just do, hey, hey. And I won't start a horse with a wolf tooth, with a bridle on. So that'll be one thing I look today with my colt, is making sure that he has a good mouth before I'd put a bridle on it. And if he had a wolf tooth, I'd continue riding it in a halter, or I do have a rubber bit, and it depends on the horse and what we're looking for. So it is really important. If I have a horse that's pinched through the shoulders, ideally I'll get to the point where I can adjust, play with those front legs enough that I can adjust those front shoulders. Because there's so many things that go on with these horses. They don't wake up and become naughty one day. It's not how they work. So this is our horse's classroom. I'm their teacher, their trainer. And then essentially I want my horse to become those child scholars, those kids that are at university at 10 because their brains are so smart, that they are so invested in learning. They know what try means, and they know what the word want is. They want more in their life, same as I do. Every time I come out here, I want a partnership. I want a horse that's looking for and enjoys what it's doing. I don't want a horse that I have to make go in that arena. If I'm show jumping my horses, I want them to fight for me, not against me. I don't want to ride a machine. I want a horse that's 100% relaxed and happy. Amanda, can you hold this and I'll get Alexa to saddle up that one, please? Towel. Good. Okay, and this I can guarantee you I haven't got all the adjustments because there's so much going on with it, and it is something I'll do again tonight. Good girl. Ooh. Good. Chill. Oh. You learn how to stand. Okay, so if I go all the way down those muscles. Good pony. Good. Okay, and if I have a horse I hop on and it bolts when it turns around and sees me, okay, that's my peripheral vision gone. Okay, and that's related to my horse's eyes. So my horse's eyesight can be affected so much if my horse's pole is out. Okay, we've got horses that you put blinkers on, or if it sees you suddenly out of a corner of an eye, or it catches sight of something and it's one of those ones that just take off bolting. Okay, that's our peripheral vision, and that's related to the pole. Walk it forward. Okay, it's knowing that if my horse is rearing, napping, fussy in the contact, not wanting to go forward, short through the stride, that is my wither forward. Okay, if my horse is bucking, kicking out, disuniting or switching leads behind, tail swishing, swinging his hindquarters, that's my wither backwards. Knowing that, particularly with jumping, if I've got a broken front splint, that means if my horse is stopping, I have a broken front splint. But if I was to have a broken back splint, that would make my horse rash. Okay? Trying to work out, trying to understand what is my horse going through. Yes, she's a little tight through here still, so I'll get Amanda to play with that. Okay, but here's really important. The shoulder?
No, the shoulder.
Okay.
In here, it's still sore, and she fixes it. And then the hamstring on the near side.
Okay, so this shoulder's still a little.
Look
Okay. Cool. So Amanda's just said, like normally I'd follow it up with a little bit of a massage myself. Amanda's just said his hamstring on this side and his shoulder on that side are a little tight still. Okay, and that's a little bit more massage and a little bit more time. Alexa, could you hold the little mirror, please? Okay, so what I want to then do is I want to say, hey, we need to teach you how to use your body correctly. Okay, so if you have a sore back and you bend over correctly, it doesn't hurt as much. If you bend over the wrong way, it hurts. Okay, so what we have to then do is teach these horses how to use their body correctly. Okay, my horse's power, its engine, it all's here. Okay, it all comes from the hind quarter. So what we've really got to start doing is saying walk. Okay, if my horse has a good walk, if I physically engage my horse, I have then mentally engaged it. Okay, and it's like the natural horsemanship, all that groundwork. If we move our horse's feet, if we have control of their feet, we have control of their brain. Okay, so when people hop on their horses, they walk like this. Yeah, he's on the bit, he's pretty. Okay, but he doesn't actually go anywhere. Okay, what I want him to do is I want to step him through, I want him to swing a little, and I want him to take me forward. So we have a saying, when my horses go out on the farm, that's their playground, that's their fun time. They can dawdle out there, they can do anything they like. But as soon as they step to the track, to the arena, they march like they're walking into battle. Okay, and it's a big forward swinging walk, and I'm saying, hey, use that body a little bit more. And I'll get to the point where it'll be one finger that says, hey, soften. I'm wanting this muscle to work. So I'm asking my horse to sit, to push, come up through a core, come up through a wither, and then take that contact down and forward. Okay, and I'm always looking that my horse is on the bit here. That means he's on the bit in his entire body, not just up at the pole, because I can make any horse go on the bit at the pole. I can shut him down and say, hey, let's work. Okay, I've lost all my movement. I've lost my energy and the lightness. So what I want to really say is say, hey, use your body. Okay, and then it's all about dancing. How light, how soft can we get these horses? I want a horse that swings through his body. Hey, you got to be brave, kid. Okay, I want a horse I don't really have to touch, because if I set up his body correctly, he will go on the bit himself. Okay, so if I take that away, okay, he's going to say, okay, I can work correctly because I'm using my body, I'm using my engine. Good boy. Okay, and at the moment, we'll over-exaggerate everything. We'll say, hey, stay soft, stay swinging. Good. He's allowed to go forward because I want him to be free through those shoulders. I don't want that tightness. And we might say, hey, flex a little. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut him down. I'm going to go back to your ride. Okay, I've lost all the energy. Yes, he's on the bit. He's working nicely. He's very overbent. Okay, but I've lost the lightness and the energy. And if I say, hey, here, it can go somewhere because I'm using my horse's engine. Okay, and it's really simple, guys. I have a big ball of energy between my core, his wither, and my hand. Okay, and if I get rid of that ball of energy, I lose the movement. Okay, yeah, I can make him go on the bit, I can seesaw in his mouth, hands down here, making any horse work. That's not hard. Okay, but I want my horses to be light, I want them to dance, and I want them to be free. Okay, he does it himself. Okay, and as soon as I do that, okay, he shuts down. He loses that swing behind. Yes, I've got control of him. Good boy. Okay, we're gonna, whoa, don't clap yet. And I just want him to start using that body. And it's the same thing. I'm gonna say, hey, how soft are you? How light? Good boy. We might go forward a little. Good. And we're gonna say, hey, stretch those muscles. That he's still a little tight for me. He's not really soft yet. Ooh. Good boy. Ooh. Good boy. Good. Good. Okay, we're just going to continuously say, hey. Ooh. Good. Good. It's okay. He's going to say, hey, that leg means use body, and he's going to catch. And I want them then to go, okay, actually, because we have to retrain memory right now. It's kind of like reprogramming a computer. We have to delete everything that he knows and start saying, hey, this is how you use your body. This is how you work. Okay, and it's really interesting. I can get a horse with a rope around its neck to froth at the mouth. Okay, and all that means is that he is using his back end, his hindquarter, his energy. How straight, how much flexion do I want? If I want to ride forward, does he go forward and up? And then I might go, whoa, good boy. And then we're going to very quickly, how much time have we got left? 5 minutes? Okay, we're going to chuck the saddle on the other little mare, whose muscles are still very, very tight. Good boy. Okay, so I'm wanting a horse that uses his body very correctly. We don't want a horse that's stuck in his body, that's tight. And yes, I can make any horse not work from the hindquarter, but I believe our job as a rider and a trainer is to teach him how to use his body correctly. So both mentally and physically, his job then becomes easy. Stop you, Amanda. So he's a really cool little demo horse, this one.
Also on this good side.
Good pony. Okay, so muscle-wise, this horse has a lot going on. Okay, and I know that I do need to treat it a couple more times. Oh, baby girl. Okay, we're not going to get an instant fix with this little mare because there's so much wrong muscle. There's so much memory. Okay, because memory stays around for a very long time. So it's then our job to kind of reprogram it, reteach it, how to use that body correctly. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, so I'm just going to let it stretch a little bit. Come. Nope. Good. Give her a chance, because she's so tight. Okay, those muscles are so tight. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so she's a little short on that outside shoulder. I can see that still here from working her. Okay, she wants to swing it out around her body, then move it straight underneath her. Okay, but what I want to do, come. Whoa, whoa, it's okay. It's okay. What would be very interesting is if I had a clinic on day 3. That's when we see the differences. Good girl. Okay, but it is a lot happier to trot, but that outside shoulder, it wants to swing out on that circle. She can't bring it underneath herself. So it's a lot happier to trot. Better, good. Good girl. Good girl. No. Good girl. Good. And whoa. Whoa. Good girl. Come here. Okay. It's okay. Come. No. Good. Good. No. Sorry. And it's quite interesting, like every time I watch a horse work in all these clinics, everything that's going, I'm not watching the rider or the relationship. All I look at is our horse's bodies. Okay, where she's stuck, and she's still obviously stuck in this inside shoulder. Hindquarter is a lot happier. So when you get horses that want to, rather than bucking, they jam up and can't go forward like she does at the canter. See, on this shoulder, she doesn't have to bring that shoulder out and around. She can just lead with it. So it's not as obviously tight. But on the other direction, when we change direction, come. Good. Okay, she has to bring that outside shoulder around her entire body. So it's going to catch a lot more than it does on this rein. Okay, that's what she's trying to tell us. Good girl. Ooh, so if we go back the other direction, good girl. You watch. That outside shoulder lead, She has to bring it out and around. Good, better. Okay, it's not as easy for her, but she's all of a sudden trying. She's trying to work out what to do. Okay, and sometimes it's that memory. We've got to say, hey, this is how you use her body, because she cross-canters an awful lot. We did a before video on the weekend. Ooh. Good. Okay, so all we have to then do is say, hey, here's the opportunity to use your body. That is not actually as sore as you think it is. Ooh, good baby girl. Okay, guys, so it's not necessarily a good baby. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so I'd like to thank everyone for coming and for being part of this. I especially like to thank these horses' owners, because we couldn't have had two better demo horses. If anyone does have questions, I'll be back in my booth shortly. I can answer anybody's questions. Sheath cleaning, feet balance, saddle, there's so many things going on. But thank you very much for your time.
Folks, how about it for Vicki Wilson?